is up? What is up? Mr. Alertwolf here to bring you another review. And this is a DC Nation review of Young Justice, Season 2, Episode 20, called Endgame. Now, this is the last episode of the series so far, unless they, get renewed. But who knows, because, Cartoon Network has been on this. Excuse me. But, basically, on that note, I still have a link below for my, not mine, but for the petition to save it. This and Green Lantern. Now, I believe it has like 50, 60,000 signatures, so there is a sizable amount there. Yeah, so remember to get it on the way out. But that aside, this episode can be broken down to 3 parts, basically. And part 1 will be the battle. Part 2, basically, part 1 isn't even the battle. There's the trial, the battle, and the race to save the planet. There's the wrap-up at the end, but that's not really a part. And so, although the trial happens somewhat in the middle of everything, which is the Justice League part, I'll get into that right now. So, basically, the trial goes down. Finally, it's finished, and the Justice League lose. They're found guilty because they don't bribe anybody. Why they didn't bribe anybody is beyond me. I would have bribed them the entire time. Who cares? They're a crooked court system that play by the rules of bribery. If you don't play by those rules, you're not going to win. But so they get found guilty and they get taken away. Moments later, Superboy and Miss Martian come through with the evidence to clear them from the previous episode, only to find out they messed up. It was too late. Then they try to launch an appeal, and Superboy and Supergirl come up with an effective strategy, which is basically to tempt court system. They're like, we're not going to pay you, but once word gets out of how fair you are, how good you are, you'll get more trials, right? And how famous you'll become. And they tempted them with prestige that would get them more clients. And they're like, yeah, that sounds right. And so then we get basically, they come back and they're like, well, you know what? We thought about it. If you guys are right, they are clearly innocent. You will be set free. And so they saved the Justice League's stay of execution and cleared their name. Icon tells them that, basically that. And so then you have basically Miss Martian and Superboy bounce. And then later on, as they're leaving, Randall Savage goes on the comms and threatens to leave Earth alone, because if you don't, you have to deal with him. And Superman's like, what makes him think that's gonna work? And then you see the War Planet. So there you go. And that's the wrap up to their story. That's pretty much the Justice League tale. They're free now, finally free. Finally get to come home. Now, speaking of home, so let's go to that part. Let's go to that battle scene. So now it is the final battle between what's left of the Reach and the team. And they're fighting on the Reach ship. You have the Beetles fighting. Green Beetle ends up fighting Black Beetle. Now, I will say this. Black Beetle trolls Green Beetle. I'm gonna call it right now. Green Beetle was trolled, and here's the reason why. Again, I've said this before. Green Beetle could possibly be one of the most powerful beings in DCU. When you think of how powerful a beetle is, right? Then you think of how powerful a Martian is. Think Martian Manhunter. Now, obviously, he's not as strong as the Martian Manhunter, because the Martian Manhunter was trained to be that type of dude before he became a superhero. But still, Martian physiology, right? Shape-shifting, telepath, I-beams, the works. Although sometimes people don't play the I-beams. He has eye lasers. Let's just say Piccolo stole it from him. But there you go. You have the skill set. I mean, they're all nearly invulnerable, almost as strong as Kryptonians. You know, Superman is still stronger, but they're on that level. And then you add the Green Beetle and the Beetle armor. The Green Beetle should be one of the strongest beings in DCU. At least, you know, just standard superhero stuff. He should be on par with anybody. But the Black Beetle, who is better with his beetle than the other beetles. What happens is the Green Beetle jacks into the Black Beetle and attempts to reset him, thus freeing the person from the beetle influence. Now, before this can be done, or as this is being done, you see the green going into the black. Black Beetle reverses it and kills his scarab. So the Green Beetle scarab dies. And he says this would kill normal people, but, you know, Martian physiology, they're still alive. So then he was going to kill him, and then Blue Beetle fought him. And so as the Blue Beetle's fighting him, you know, there's an exchange between them, and Black Beetle goes to do the same thing to the Blue Beetle. But he's like, there's a difference. And the difference here is both the Blue Beetle and Jaime Reyes are working as one, just like the Black Beetle, basically, or no, better, because there's no one over the other. There's no war of attrition here. They're working together. They reverse it and even jack into him further and delete his scarab, and his scarab dies. Now, because of this, he finds out that basically they have what his plan was to destroy the Earth, and now they're in trouble. So then Lex Luthor pipes in with some help. Now Lex Luthor has commandeered the Secretary of the UN for suggestion. Basically, what's going on is there's these pods, these beetle pods that are armed by beetle droids, and they have heavy firepower, as much as any beetle. But they're going to destabilize the Earth's magnetic field, thus causing the planet to break apart. So then Luthor prepares these things these drives to stop them, using Beetle technology and Luthor technology to save the day. So they divide up into teams of 2 and there's 20 of them, and they all basically save the day. You know, this is when Superboy and Supergirl arrive. So they Supergirl, excuse me, Miss Martian, I keep making that mistake, arrive. So they all help out, and that's what happens. They all end up saving the world, or at least stopping all their targets real fast. Then it turns out there was actually 21 beetle things, and the 21st is at the North Pole, and it was being concealed by the Earth's magnetic field. So Flash heads there, and Impulse is right behind him, and it's too late. The machine already activated. There's nothing they could do. They can't stop it. So then Luther tells Flash that he has to run, and there's a little joke there, but counter to the way that thing is spinning, they have to run the other way to siphon off the energy. And they're like, this is crazy. And from the tower, they're like, you know, Artemis is like, do you think there'll be enough? And you already hear the tube going, the Zeta tube going, and Kid Flash joins. Now, I've been saying this for a while. DCU has somebody has it in for Wally West in the DC. I think it's the editor, but somebody has it in for him. Like he just does, because Wally's not allowed to exist. But basically, I'm giving this away. But Wally joins in, and he's not as fast as the other Flashes. You don't know how much that irks me, because come on, Wally was the Flash for like 2 decades. He can vibrate between universes. Okay, that wasn't Alan. Excuse me, Alan. That wasn't That wasn't the first Flash or the second or the second Flash. That was all Wally. You know, it wasn't Barry Allen. You know, or I mean, Impulse can time travel and whatnot. And Impulse is pretty good, but I'm just saying. So, running around and he destabilizes. And what's interesting about this is he dies the way Flashes die, by like, it looks, you know, by like fading into nothingness. Usually because they run so fast. This is the first time I've seen a Flash disappear into nothingness because he ran too fucking slow. I am sorry. Wow. Are they shitting on him? But he did die. The team goes sad, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. You know, when Wally went down, you know, those sad scenes about Wally had me crying some man tears. A little couple tears went down. It was good. It was really good. It was very emotional. You know, you felt for Artemis. You felt for the Flashes and the Flash family, and it was very good. And so we wrap up. The League gets home right after this. Crisis averted, but things go bad, you know, and then we get handoff of power. Captain Atom. We find out Luther takes over as the Secretary General of the UN. Captain Atom takes over the reins to the Canary and the rest of the main League people. He's like, this is all you. Meanwhile, right after that, you have Aqualad and Nightwing walk in, and Nightwing's like, I'm handing it over to you. Aqualad, take it back, and he's like, well, you don't have to resign. He's like, I'm not resigning, I'm taking a break because of Wally's death and all this. He's like, don't worry, Super, he's doing the Supergirl, but Batgirl, can do this if you need help. So, you know, then the League tells, you know, Young Justice basically that, listen, you guys are going to work side by side in the Watchtower because you guys have earned it, and we leave the tower to you, and they all go off. Meanwhile, you know, they start handing out assignments, and one of them is to try to figure out what the hell Vandal Savage's next move is. Now, and then you get a line from Nightwing, business as usual. Then we all know where that fool was heading with War World. He went to Acropolis. And I'm floored. I love it. He goes down. You see Godfrey. You see Desaad. Boom tube opens up. Savage walks out. Now Godfrey, of course he's there. Of course he's there. And then Vandal Savage and Darkseid shake hands. And then Vandal Savage goes business as usual. And that is the end of the show. What a great spot to leave it for our next season. I'm just saying. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I absolutely love everything they're doing. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna say this. You know what needs to happen? If DC, if they're screwing the DC Nation shows, move it to renew both shows and just bring it to Toonami. I'm sorry. Get rid of Thundercats, another show they never should have canceled. Get rid of Symbiotic Titan, again, another show they shouldn't have canceled. I love that show too. Get rid of them and put those two shows on. That's my suggestion. But what did I think of this episode? This episode had everything. It had awesome battle sequences. You know, the race. It had moments with the Flash. They saved the Justice League. The death of Kid Flash. Oh, and I forgot. You got to see Bart take over as Kid Flash, and he was in the costume. And Artemis is now Tigress, and because she doesn't want to be Artemis anymore, and she's like, yeah. There was a line about her going back to be, is Tigress going to be a good guy this time? And she goes, well, she's going to be a blonde. That's pretty good. But so there's so much stuff that they could be doing with this, and this whole episode was so good. It hit all the cues. This was definitely a 5 out of 5, a strong outing for this show exiting. You know what I mean? It was a great way to go. And I absolutely loved it. So again, check. You know, I feel bad about the show ending. Now, I said this in my last review, Green Lantern. I will be doing the new Batman show. That will be my DC Nation review in about a week or two. I don't know, depending on how it goes. I'm probably going to be picking up the new Superman movie, and I'll probably pick up the or borrow it, depending if my buddy gets it first. The Iron Man movie too, the animated, and I'll probably do reviews on that. So you'll probably get a Superman Outbound review from me as soon as I'm able to get my hands on the film. And again, the petition is on the bottom. Please sign it. This is the last time I'm posting it. And you know, let your voices be heard. But with all that being said, this is my last DC Nation review for a while. So lick it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is your buddy Alertwolf signing out.